Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing the different levels or different categories of what is believed to be evil. Everybody has their own idea of what it really is and things like that. So I'm going to explain my point of view, which to me makes sense, and of course, is up to you. Draw your own conclusion. So here we go. For those of you who are just wondering what's the difference between the different types of evil, I mean, evil is evil in that sense, but it's not necessarily true. There's actually, if you think about it, different categories, different levels of it, or different types. And these are aberrant, miscreant, or unscrupulous, and diabolic. Those that are the three different categories of evil, starting from the least worst to the most worst. The least worst, of course, they have, like before you even get to that part, they do have a different level of characteristics in their behavior and the actions that they actually do. The one thing that they all have in common is one thing. They are all seriously messed up in the head. All three of them are. However, there's also a difference. So the one thing they have in common is they're all pretty much, excuse me for saying this, fucked up in the head. So I'm gonna explain the first one to you, which is the least worst, and give you an example. The first one is known as, show it to you, aberrant evil. And the aberrant evil is basically a person who pretty much had a very screwed up life. Abusive parents, or they're probably an orphan. Their parents got killed and they were brought up in a very unsavory, violent environment, bad element. And these are usually gangbangers. That's one example of it. And there's also people that are pretty much so screwed up to the point that they don't really care about life anymore. That nothing is sacred. They're so psychologically and even physical abuse or whatever the case may be. One example of that would be this.
If there's a way to help Cordelia, we will find it.
What's the case?
Corbin Fry's the lowest piece of pond scum I've met, and
How is
he's about to get 20 years for kidnapping, pimping.
soft file?
Yeah. Well, personally, I think he deserves to be eaten by weasels, but he's hinting we best help him. Threatening, actually.
Mr. Fries,
Mr. Fries, this is Angel.
I've been bringing him up to speed on your case.
Terrific. Desmond Keel.
One of ours.
Nice to meet you. I've heard things.
Would anybody like coffee?
Oh, yeah, let's all chit-chat and have tea and crumpets, because I got so much time. Here's the skinny. Tomorrow the DA puts my tit in a ringer for good enough, and that does not stand with me. But Munch here, he got his law degree at dog training school, and the prosecution has everything they've ever dreamed of.
Because you're guilty.
Of course I'm guilty. What the hell are you changing the subject for? The point is, when Holland Manners was running things, this would have never got to trial. Now, I bring a lot of money into this firm, more than most, and I don't do that so I can be handed over to the frickin' law. You gotta get me off.
It's strange, my lack of incentive.
You think I give a ferret's anus about your new regime here? Yeah, I know who you are, and I care to the sum of zero. You're my lawyers. And if you don't do every last thing to keep me out of jail, you will regret it.
No, we can't answer on this one. We're not in a position to have anyone killed. Not that we would, and the jury's tamper-proof. Literally, I think one of the DA shamans has conjured a mystical shield around them.
So this one has to be won on the merits of the case.
And we have top men on this.
We're doing Jack. I am not going to be made an example of. Either you get me off tomorrow.
I think you should calm down.
To hell with calm down. Either you get me off, or I drop the bomb.
Bomb.
Let me put it this way. They're bringing a conviction. Bye-bye, California.
Of course, that's just one aspect of it. One or a certain class of inherent evil. This is another one, because some are worse than others. So this is the other one.
I thought my jokes were bad.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone. Put close. It's simple. We kill the Batman.
If it's so simple, why haven't you done it already?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
How much you want?
Half. You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not. If we don't deal with this now, soon, little Gamble here won't be able to get a nickel for his grandma.
Enough from the clown!
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
You think you can steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah.
I'm putting the word out. 500 grand for this clown dead. $1 million alive, so I can teach him some manners first.
All right, so listen, why don't you give me a call when you want to start taking things a little more seriously? Here's my card. Look at these scars. My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night, he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me, and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And why so serious?
And And like I said, some are worse than others. Those were the two examples. The first one was the miscreant type of unscrupulous evil, and the second one with the Joker is more of the aberrant evil, the one who went through a very messed up childhood and years of psychological and physical abuse, which, like I said before in other videos about people that are born with an abnormal brain, the prefrontal cortex, the part that also has to do with not just ethics, but proper behavior and impulses. If that's damaged through psychological and physical abuse and things like that, it can do damage to it. And if it's already abnormal to begin with, it makes it even worse. So those are like the categories of miscreant or unscrupulous evil and aberrant. And of course, aberrant is what you would also normally see in this example.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And those are the examples. Another example, which I don't have the movie for to show you, but I'm pretty sure all of you seen the movie Scarface. Now, the character Antonio Montana, he's also what you would call in the category of aberrant, except he's not as bad as other people that are miscreant or unscrupulous. And you know, like the Joker, like the example that I gave with that. So aberrant is like the lowest one. Miscreant or unscrupulous is the one that's a little higher. They're somewhat aberrant, but they're like worse than others. And of course, there's also what is called the diabolic. And the diabolic evil is the worst one that anyone would have the most unfortunate situation in meeting them. The kind of people that you do not want to meet. And these are the ones that have the dark secrets. And of course, there's different levels of them. There's the diabolic people that a lot of people would seem or respect as being the normal type, but they have dark secrets, and they're usually the rich and powerful, well-respected business people, but of course, behind closed doors, they're involved with something else.
I didn't realize.
Do you want to tell me what you found, Mrs. Christian?
Cash, stock, certificates, nothing out of the ordinary, really, except that. It's a film where a girl appears to be murdered.
I'm not sure I understand. It's very realistic,
to say the least. But how many people seem to be realistically killed in movies and on television every day? It begins as a relatively sleazy bit of pornography and rapidly turns quite violent and bloody.
What you seem to be talking about is called a snuff film. From what I know, snuff films are a kind of urban myth. Sex industry folklore. There's no such thing.
That's what I explained to Mrs. Christian.
This is probably an S&M film of some sort. Simulated rape, simulated violence. It's hard to stomach, but there are ways of doing it.
Would you look at the film and give us your opinion? All I want is to know that this atrocity is false. I want the proof.
Look, Pops, it's not too late to change your mind about all this. I'm gonna tell you, there's things that you're gonna see that you can't unsee. They get in your head and they stay there.
How do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, fine. I'm saying, before you know it, you're in, deep in
Don't worry about that. But thank you.
it. Well, you're welcome. Pops, you dance with the devil don't change. Devil changes you. Do you get turned on at places like tonight?
No, I am not.
You don't exactly get turned off either. Devil's changing you already.
Good night, Max.
Do you think that people like the Christians hire people like you, like me, as an invitation to their dinner parties? No, we're there to clean up the mess, to wipe their royal asses.
You were asked to buy a snuff film. They couldn't find you one, so you paid them to make you one, right? Isn't that what happened? The girl was alive, so you paid to have her murdered? How much did Christian pay you for your conscience? $1 million?
I've been well compensated. But you, I bought cheap.
Did you watch it with her?
What?
The snuff film, did you watch it with her?
This is not helping your friend. Now get the film and let's go.
Did you get him off? Huh, Mr. Christian? Watching them cut her up like that? Did he jerk off to it? You sit there, hold his cock, give him the hand job while Mary Ann Matthews was dying?
What the hell are you trying to do?
I'm trying to understand! What the fuck did he want with the snuff film?
You're asking me why?
Yes, why? Why? Why did he want to film of a little girl being butchered?
Because he could. He did it because he could. What other reason were you looking for?
And that is just one example of these type of people. And of course, people like that also have, there's also others, in other words, that are worse, a lot worse than them. And they're part of some Masonic order. You know, call it what you want. You know, some people call them the Illuminati. Some people call them the elite or whatever. But whatever you want to call them, those are the worst types. And very few people actually come face to face with them or cross paths with them or something like that. Or I should say witness diabolical evil. So it's actually rare that someone would actually see or actually experience it, or when these type of people. So these are the different categories. So drop a comment, tell me what you think, any questions or whatsoever. And take care.